The following podcast contains strong language and alternative facts. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter at Heel Podcast. Over the airwaves and under the influence, we are Turning Heel.
Let's get this shindig started. Hello and welcome to the third episode of the Turning Heel podcast in the span of about a week. Jesus Christ. You must be sick of listening to me speak at this point because I am the Griz. And with me as always is Chris motherfucking Hughes.
Howdy, partner.
What's up, you yellow-bellied, lily-livered son of a gun?
Hey, listen to that yellow belly stuff.
I reckon it was the olden days.
I'm not even going to go where I was going to go there.
Nah.
Moving swiftly on.
Well, we're back again with much more wrestling talk because, right, so we had... What was it? Yeah, this is the third in the span of a week. So what did we do? I guess we done last week's episode, then we done TakeOver. Now we're doing AEW, NXT, and the Impact pay-per-view. And then, this Sunday, we have another pay-per-view.
Yeah, fuck, I forgot that's this Sunday.
Yeah. And then, as they kind of reminded us on the Impact pay-per-view, they're going to have Genesis the week before Hard to Kill, so that's two TNA pay-per-views, Impact pay-per-views in 8 days. So that'll be fun.
And then we've technically got two pay-per-view quality cards coming up from NXT and on Wrestle Kingdom as well. Mainly talking about NXT and the AEW with their festive shows.
Yeah. We've got New Year's Evil on the 6th and the second week of the New Year's celebrations featuring Snoop Dogg. The Betrayal.
The Betrayal.
Sasha Banks is just sitting there like, seriously, cuz?
Are they actually cousins? Or is it like a Samoan cousin?
I believe they're actually related. Because I feel like that would be a really weird thing for them to bring up if it wasn't true.
Yeah. That's true.
Because it's one of those things where WWE absolutely loves to have any kind of celebrity related in wrestling, and now they literally have a celebrity related to wrestling. And plus, I probably imagine that he probably comes kind of cheap whenever he's needed.
Yeah, well, given the fact he's doing Just Eat adverts over here, can't imagine he's doing particularly well at the moment.
Well, he's got that Go Big show that is coming in January, also featuring Cody Rhodes. So I might at least watch the first episode or two of that and see if that's any good.
Yeah, I'll give it a go as well. I can't imagine it will be, but we'll see what happens.
It does look like Extreme America's Got Talent, so it has potential. I mean, see, one of the adverts has a fucking monster truck in it, so yeah, I'm all for that.
Okay, fair play.
Right, so why don't we get started? Because there's a long way to go and a short time to get there.
Yep,
so we start with AEW from this past Wednesday. Starting with, this is going to become a common theme over the entire of Wednesday night. Already in the ring, TH2.
I don't understand why Impact, why AEW do that, so often. I could get it maybe occasionally.
Yeah.
But I do it all the time. And they've done it as well. I really should have taken a note of it. But they've done it with someone quite big as well. I think it might be an MGF, actually.
Yeah, I'll be hearing the notes because I definitely have taken a note of like every time because it drives the fuck. It drives blah, 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 sentences. It annoys the fuck out of me. It drives me mental. Just because even when it's like matches where everybody starts in the ring, it still kind of annoys me. But at least everybody's starting on a level playing field, and it's just like, oh, forget the bells and whistles of the entrance. Let's just get in the match. But when it's just like, oh, here come the Young Bucks, and their opponents are already there on the floor. Nobody cares. And then they end up having a competitive match, and it's like, yeah, but like they got the jobber entrance, so it already kind of takes the wind out of it a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
But,
completely agree.
Yeah, nevertheless, our opening contest is the Young Bucks versus TH2, not for the tag team titles, despite the fact that, as Robert kind of brought up last time, he thought it was because they said they put up a graphic for it. And this isn't the first time that they've put up a graphic for something claiming it was for a title, and then it didn't happen.
No,
so
it's not been for a title.
Yeah, it's really weird. Like, can they just not decide or something whether or not that's going to be the case?
I don't know. It seems they go on about the ranking system, and then when they just put these random title matches on, that kind of shit's all over their ranking system.
Yeah.
But then it makes them look like fucking idiots because they've advertised it and then changed it and just like swept it under the rug. Stop advertising title matches unless you're 100% certain it's going to be a title match.
Because you know what I have realised? Like, I was looking at the some of the matches that are going to be on Dark tomorrow night, and well, there goes everything all over the floor. That's fun. And Shida is wrestling tomorrow. And I think this is what it is they purposely go out the way to mention, oh, she's the women's champion. But it looks like, because of the way that bit's placed, it looks like it's like a kind of title card for the match saying it's for the belt. Because I was like, wait, Shida is defending the fucking women's title on Dark? And it's like, no, that just says AEW World Women's Champion. So maybe that's it. Maybe we'll just be looking at it and just assuming.
Possibly. Because, I mean, it's a pretty major fuck-up to make on more than one occasion. So, yeah, maybe it is us that are idiots. If anyone could clarify that for us, that'd be greatly appreciated.
But yeah, like, even then, if we're assuming that on an almost constant basis, then maybe you should do something different with your fucking promotional card thing, whatever the fuck you want to call that.
Yeah. Your match graphics.
Yes, that's the one. Thank you.
Because they're clearly not working.
Yeah. I mean, I get it to an extent, but at the same time, you're causing some fucking confusion here, and wrestling is supposed to be pretty basic at the bluffed of times.
Yeah. That makes the most sense, that we're just reading it wrong. Because it's just like, it's a major wrestling promotion. Surely they can't do that as often as they do.
But I mean, that kind of also goes back to the thing as well of it's the way this presented. Like in WWE, they don't say it's a title match unless it's a title match, and so the kind of way that they have that set out, where it's like, oh, women's champion Hikaru Shida, and it just kind of looks like it is because they mention it all the time. I don't know, but nevertheless, we'll get into this match because I remember like the Bucks specifically saying, your ranking wasn't good enough. Hi, Fergal. Your ranking wasn't good enough for you to get a title shot, but we'll wrestle you anyway, and if you can beat us, then we'll give you a title shot. And then, like, if they were just going to give them a title shot anyway, it just made no sense that they brought that up in their promo. But anyway, let's not dwell on it. Let's have a chat about the match, because this was an excellent opener, and I'm finally glad they're at least doing something with TH2, even if it isn't a losing effort, because they really have, like, they've been knocking it out of the park ever since they kind of came back.
Yeah, they have been.
So, partway through the match, Evans gets a really close 2 count of 450. Later, the Young Bucks come back and connect with a Doomsday device on the ramp to Evans. Then they had the double super kick on an helico, but they only get 2, and that shocked the ever-living life out of me. The bang for your buck was countered by Angelico, who took them both out. And then Angelico hits a reverse Rana and a 450 to one of the Bucks on the outside by Evans. Then Angelico locks in his leg submission on Matt Jackson. And I really thought, like, oh my God, they're actually just going to beat them here. But of course, it's the Young Bucks, so that doesn't happen. Nick goes Evans out of the ring because he was playing guard for the submission, and then hits a senton on Angelico to break the hold. Then the Bucks up for the Meltzer driver, but Evans takes them out of the ring. Then Evans goes for a dive on the two of them, but gets caught. And then the Bucks hit the driver, Meltzer driver, on the outside to Jack Evans. That leaves Angelico on his own. And so they double team Angelico for like what seems like forever. So didn't really think that was fair. BT trigger, Young Bucks win. Boo! That's in my notes.
You actually wrote boo on your notes?
Yes.
Yeah, you got to expect the Young Bucks to win that match.
I know, but just if you want to, build up other stars.
They kind of have, though, because they had a really good showing. So that's them now. That's them now on the path to becoming number one contenders.
Maybe. But it's just like right now, I don't see any team that even are coming close to like taking these belts off the Young Bucks. Obviously, this is just the start of their reign, so I reckon that they're probably going to have these belts for a while. But when you're going into almost every match and thinking, well, pretty much can just see the Young Bucks are going to win, outright as soon as the match starts. It doesn't give you much to kind of hold on to.
I think they're going to have those belts for at least 6 months. They're going to have a long run with them.
Yeah, so obviously not the February pay-per-view, but I'd say maybe the pay-per-view after that might be the kind of sort of time where they might have a match in terms of like opponents that might, have potential to beat them.
Yeah. But as you say, you don't really see where that's coming from. Perhaps an inner circle team of Wardlow and Jake Hager I'd quite like to see.
I would like to see that. That would be good. Because we'll get to them in a little bit.
Yeah.
So MJF is backstage and he cuts a promo pretty much saying he's just going to beat the shit out of Orange Cassidy. Then we move on to this really weirdly cut segment of... It said that it was Tony Schiavone's going to interview Sting. So Tony's out there, Sting comes out, and then Arn Anderson is just there, and he's standing with a microphone and staring at him. So it's like, wait, is Arn Anderson doing this interview? Then he just kind of says, I just wanted to see this in person for myself, or something like that. Then he kind of goes away, and then Tony Schiavone comes up, and then Sting's like, oh, okay, yeah, it's been 20-something years, so let me hear one of those. It stings. So Tony Schiavone does that. Then Tony Schiavone disappears, and then Cody's there. And then Cody just kind of stands there talking to Sting. It was really weird.
Well, Darby Allin's watching over it all.
Yeah, in the darkness. And then Cody just kind of constantly dickishly says, like I said, I'm glad you're back. And then Sting says he plans on being in AEW for a long time, and kind of hints that, one day he's probably going to face Cody, but he has some other business to take care of first.
Yeah, and I still don't see where Sting works or fits in 2020.
Mm-mm. I know, and I saw this whole Cody acting like a dick the whole time and all that, and it's like, what are you, Cody? Because it's annoying me now. Are you meant to be a heel? Are you meant to be a face? Cody just like pick a lane and stick in it, because you can't just be all over the place.
Cody annoys it. He annoys the life out of me.
Yeah.
Yeah, the two of them, it's just like, if more turns in the Big Show, it's fucking...
Yeah. I know, Jesus, like, Cody sometimes turns face and heel like 3 times in a fucking episode.
Aye.
I don't get it. Because, yeah, like...
Then he came back with his dark hair, and then fucking 2 weeks later he was back to blonde. Like,
yeah. He literally
fucking make a decision.
He literally cut a promo about, like, oh, people think that because I've dyed my hair, like, I'm going down a darker path, but no, I'm sticking with you, the fans. Anyway, here's my blonde hair back.
Aye. It's backwards.
And then, like, we got onto the a very quick promo from Team Taz, which didn't say anything of note, just kind of more the fact that Hook, Taz's kid, is with them, and he says that they're officially training Hook now. So, but I'm saying all that because, like, remember a couple of weeks ago when Cody and Taz had that moment in the ring where Cody was clearly meant to be the face, and then he does that really dickish thing of being like, well, how come your kid's traded with me and not you? And it's like, I don't know, I genuinely felt sorry for Taz there in that situation.
Mm-hmm.
But, and then, like, I don't know, like, Cody just doesn't seem to have anything really going on. I mean, I guess this Shaq thing that we're going to get into, but Jesus, was that horrendous as well.
I don't understand. I don't get it. Why are they going after all these WWE celebrities?
Yeah.
I don't get it. Like, just be fucking different. That was the thing. That's why we were all excited. AEW is going to be something different. And it is different, but it's the same in so many ways.
Yeah. They were for a long time, and then all of a sudden it was just like, oh, no, well, now we've got all the ex-WWE guys that they fired, and here comes Shaq and fucking Snoop Dogg, you know, two of the more prominent celebrities that have been in WWE in the fucking most recent years.
Yep. And let's talk about the New York company. And then let's have our fucking commentator fucking shit all over the talent on his podcast. Let's do that too. Woohoo!
Oh, look, here's the Young Bucks backstage watching the TV over their shoulders. Get it? Because WWE, they don't watch TV, right? And do you notice how it's always the Young Bucks and always Cody and Brandy that, well, me more specifically, really have the problem with when it comes to AEW. And ironically, they're three of the people that are part owners of it, or whatever you want to call them. They're definitely higher up in the food chain.
The Young Bucks don't bother me as such, but Cody and Brandy drive me fucking insane. It's getting to the point now where fucking Cody Rhodes' music hits and I just do just about anything other than actually watch his match or his promo or whatever. It's like, I
know.
Brandy's even worse.
Mm. Yes, she is. Like, that's the thing, like, Brandy's had about a half dozen different heel turns. Oh, fantastic. I just received an email that I was looking for about 10 minutes ago, and now it's just popped up on my screen. Excellent. It's just I'm really worrying about Christmas presents right now. Like, I've ordered a whole bunch of stuff, and now I'm getting, like, really paranoid that whether or not everything's going to come up in time or not.
Yeah.
So, getting that email actually was quite good. But yeah, like, with Brandy, like, she's had, like, so many different turns and different gimmicks and all this shit. None of it has worked. Why can't you just say, Brandy, like, why don't you just be my manager, and then you can have your fucking silly little drunk cooking show on YouTube, which isn't actually that bad, and then that could be it. Or you can just wrestle on Dark on the occasion, or you could be the manager for Red Velvet, which they're clearly trying to push because she kind of looks like Brandy. Their words, not mine. Like, there's plenty of stuff for her to do, but it's just like, you don't need to be a main character.
Yeah, she doesn't. She isn't likable. That's her problem. Like, she probably would have made a decent wee ring announcer if she'd stuck to that. but as a personality, she just isn't likable.
Mm-hmm. I know. Then exactly, and then to go with the unlikable personality, the way that she changes on an almost week to week basis, like a couple of weeks ago when she came out and started giving Jade like the pure gangsta slang and all that, and it's like, that is so not you, and you know this ain't you.
Aye, yeah, that was bad. I saw a tweet a few years ago as well that she'd signed someone's IC title that they brought for Cody to sign.
That story.
The person was raging like on Twitter. Does anyone have any idea how to get Penn out a leather belt? Because Brandy Rhodes has signed my IC title.
Yeah, but then it goes on to the next part where she replied to it saying, "You asked me to," and he's like, "I can assure you, I did not." And the fact that Brandy wasn't tagged in that, which means she vanity searches herself. That's the word, isn't it? So anytime like Brandy Rhodes is thinking, it gets flagged to her, and she's like, "You asked me to say it." He's like, "I can assure you, I didn't."
Oh, Brandy.
Yeah.
Our cooking show is half decent though, to be fair.
Yeah, like, let's not just completely shit on her. Like, she has some value. It just depends on what you do with her, and what you should do with her is not have her on TV as the main character.
Yes.
It's like she's above the fucking women's division. Let's face it.
Oh yeah, totally. And that's a big problem with the women's division in AEW.
Well, just in general, the whole women's division
is basically the person they're pushing as their star isn't even really a wrestler. Do you know what I mean?
In fact, do you know what? There you go. Perfect position for her. You could make her like the sort of higher up, the person the matchmaker of the women's division. There's a lot of women there, so that's a big division. Like, and she could still have a lot of like kind of influence on that because she's chief brandy officer. So again, she's high up in the company and all that. Blah blah.
Yeah.
So make her important without making her important, if you know what I mean. Like, make her seem important.
Yeah. And for the love of God, don't try and set another stable up with her.
Mm-hmm. That last one went so well.
The last two went so well.
What was the other one?
Well, should the
Nightmare Collective?
Nightmare Collective, and then also technically the Nightmare Family as well, which is another stupid stable because it's so vastly quickly becoming Bullet Club, but it's just not cool.
Yeah, well, the part that I find the funniest is the tag team called the Natural Nightmares, and it's Dustin Rhodes and QT Marshall. So it's like half of the team name is for Cody Rhodes, who's not in the tag team.
Yeah.
Because it's just, I mean, I know QT is a bit of a jobber, and he's just kind of there because he's their pal, but like, way you make him look like more of a jobber by having him in a tag team named the Natural Nightmares when you're neither the natural or the nightmare of the tag team.
Yeah.
I suppose
QC.
I suppose the Natural Apples doesn't really have the same sort of ring to it.
No. But it could be like, you could maybe base it around like the core. Like, I know obviously WWE had the core, but Apple has a core, so it could be like the natural cores. I don't know.
There's probably something there, but nevertheless, I mean, we don't have to talk about QT Marshall in this episode, so...
No, we don't, no.
So we get on to our next match. Already in the ring, the Varsity Blondes.
That I can get, because they're kind of not a jobber tag team, but they're not on TV all the time, so yeah, I could get that already in the ring. That one's fine.
Yeah,
I'll let that one go.
But still, just like that's 2 matches in a row, 2 already in the rings. And then they are against FTR. And so actually, like, the Varsity Blondes do pretty decently in terms of holding their own against FTR. And then JR says, the Varsity Blondes are making their debut on Dynamite. And then I spent half of this match making sure that quote wasn't true. And here's why. Because on the Thursday night Dynamite, The Varsity Blondes were in an 8-man tag match with Joey Janela and Sonny Kiss versus the Lucha Brothers and Butcher and the Blade.
Did they not say their tag team debut though?
They just
technically was.
They just said Dynamite debut.
Yeah. It's obviously not their Dynamite debut. If you said their tag team debut, then you would get away with it. But,
tag team debut on Dynamite, because they have been tagging for a while on Dark. I think they had a really good show in here, but FTR went with the Midnight Express. But I mean, decent little start for the Varsity Blondes.
I hope they do well. I haven't seen much of Pillman Jr., but I'd like to see him more.
Mm-hmm. Plus, it's probably a good sort of thing to bring him in, because he's still in this weird kind of contract right now where he's contracted to MLW as well. So they're not really wanting to commit too much to him right now because he's still technically working for another company.
Yeah.
I guess we kind of see how that goes over time. Then we go backstage with Hangman, and it's announced that he's been penciled in for a 6-man tag match coming up next week, but he has no partners because he has no friends. Cue Alex Reynolds and John Silver popping up from behind the bar and going, "Oh, you need some partners, eh?" And the Hangman's like, "How long have you guys been there?" And then they both kind of look at each other and go like, "About 7 days."
I quite enjoyed this wee segment.
So Hangman says, no, I'm not tagging with you. And like, okay, if you don't want to tag with us, who else have you got? And Hangman just kind of went, all right, okay then. One match. I'm not joining the Dark Order. I'm not going to do this thing. And holds up the claw. And so next week, Hangman, Johnny Hungy, and Alex Reynolds will take on Private Party and Matt Hardy. That's coming up this Wednesday. Then we have 10 versus Dustin Rhodes.
For reasons.
Yes. Well, probably mainly for the part after the match. So Dustin Rhodes wins with a running bulldog, like his, signature move. I remember when they used to make a big deal about 10. Now he's just literally a big jobber.
Yeah, he used to have such a hard on for 10. And then John Moxley broke his arm, or was his leg?
It was his arm. Yeah, then he ran that for ages, so that got me thinking that maybe he was actually hurt.
Yeah, possibly.
So after that, the Dark Order come out, and Evil Uno gets in the ring. And then Uno says that in AEW, Dustin is the third most important Rhodes.
Yeah.
And consider what we just
fired.
spoke about for about the past 10 minutes. It goes to show. Then he offers Dustin the spot in the Dark Order as number 7.
I get it.
It was joke. It was that weird child molester gimmick he had for like 2 weeks in WCW.
Yep.
Weird ass fucking promos those. Yeah. Anybody that doesn't know, it was a gimmick where he was dressed all in black, had a white face, and this kid would see him outside his bedroom window. Like, I think he was meant to be floating, and like the kid would do that thing where he would like put his palm on like the window, and then Seven would put his palm on the kid's palm on the window. It was really fucking creepy. And then the one appearance where Seven makes his in-ring entrance, he flies into the ring, and then he's like, "Oh, they got me dressed up like Uncle Frickin' Fester here. This is why WCW is crap." And then I'm going to be the natural. And then I don't think that lasted very long either, to be honest.
No. Then he went to WWE.
Yeah. Well, that was part of it. Is that he made fun of the Goldust gimmick. Then he goes back to WWE and then just plays Goldust again. The one gimmick that actually got you over.
Yeah. And you hated it, apparently?
Yeah. So that's why you've done it for 15 years. And then even to the point where you were genuinely at one point willing to get breast implants.
Is that true?
That's a story that's been going about. I think he said, Vince, if you pay me $1 million, I will get breast implants for my Gold Dust gimmick.
To be fair, I'd probably do that for $1 million.
Because you imagine having to walk about like, your normal life, where you just your big fake titties when you're a dude.
Just get them taken out once you're done. Problem solved.
I know, but like, considering how long Goldust went, if that was part of the gimmick, granted, what you could probably do is maybe have like Bradshaw or something hit the clothesline from hell and be like, oh, they burst. Oh no.
Because that does happen. Ask Charlotte Flair.
Yeah. Or ask Shaniqua when she got hit with the clothesline from hell and her breasts swell up.
Oh yeah, it's funny how that happened.
Yeah, because that's why that's just all I do is I just go and every day I just run at and lariat my other half in the chest just to see if it'll happen.
And has it happened yet?
I can't really tell.
Do you remember fucking Jericho pointing out that Stephanie had a boob job on Raw?
Let
simpler
the
times.
boobies hit the floor. Right. Okay, here we go. We're going to get into this. Let's try and not make this a 45-minute discussion, even though it could very easily be. Brandy Rhodes and Shaquille O'Neal are getting interviewed by Tony Schiavone backstage.
Crock of shite. Next.
Oh, God, this was terrible. So, Shaq says that, I was watching AEW the other day and was watching Jade and Cody talk, and I was like, yeah, that was like a month ago that happened. And then he's just like, oh, me and Jade go way back. And then that's like all of the connection between him and Jade. Then Brandy says when she's better,
Then he suggests a couple of times that he may or may not be boinking her.
Then Brandy says when she's better, she wants to take on Jade. Then Shaq says, he just cuts her off like halfway through. He's like, I want to see that. I want to see that. Well, while your arm is still in a sling, you should watch some Jade and get some pointers. And I'm like, watch some Jade? Like, I don't know who this chick is. Has she had a match? Is she even actually a wrestler?
She must be.
I mean, I know she's a bodybuilder. I've heard that, but
maybe she's had matches in Shimmer. I don't know.
Maybe. Then
I'll tell you what. Let's do a quick Google.
Right, Jade Cargill. Then Brandy gets incredibly offended, throws a cup of water that Tony Schiavone had in Shaq's face, and then calls him an overgrown arsehole. Or asshole. Yeah. Arsehole's the Irish version.
Yeah, but she is a professional wrestler. She was trained by a bit of a who's who of trainees. She was trained by A.R. Fox, Dustin Rhodes, Heath Miller, and QT Marshall.
Wow, that is a random list of people.
Yeah. She appears to have never actually had a match.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah, she trained at the Nightmare Factory.
Yeah. Well, there. The mystery is solved. She hasn't had a match, so there's no tapes for Brandy to even go and watch if she wanted to.
Yeah. None.
No. Oh, well, one other little thing I forgot, like when when Tony Schiavone started introducing them, she's like, he was like, oh, we've got the chief brandy officer, Brandy Rhodes, and the Hall of Famer and the multi-time blah blah blah, this and that, Shaquille O'Neal, and then Brandy's like, oh, okay, you give him a longer intro than me, and it's like, well, yes, it's Shaquille O'Neal. You know,
you're not an NBA Hall of Famer, you cow.
World-renowned fucking celebrity, and arguably like one of the biggest deals in fucking basketball. But you're like, oh well, why am I not like at the same level? It's because you're Brandy Rhodes.
You're where you are because of who you married.
You're just Cody's hot wife.
Yeah.
Right. Thankfully, I think that's all the Cody and Brandy for this episode.
Somehow they'll still come back up again.
In fact,
can't seem to get away from them.
No, I think you're right. There is another bit later on, like very briefly, where like Brandy gets attacked by Nyla Rose, and no, in fact, you know what? That was my mistake. It wasn't Brandy. It was actually Red Velvet that got attacked. I realized that after the point, and I wrote Brandy. I know, but we move on to the Inner Circle ultimatum. Where Jericho lays out the ground rules, and then MJF comes in and was like, I love all you guys, and starts to try and imply that Sammy Guevara was about to throw in the towel, and that's when Jericho says, no, we watched Dynamite, we knew that you were going to throw in the towel.
Yeah.
And then MJF was like, oh no, please, like, I had sweat on my brow, and that was to clean me off. So then it breaks down to Ortiz saying, right, you know what, like, you're a great talent, MJF, and you're starting to grow on me. Granted, you're growing on me like a fungus, but you're growing on me. And he points at Wardlow's like, you're a great talent too. Never change.
You're cool.
Yeah. Then he tells Sammy to shake his hand, and Sammy obviously kind of upset at the fact that everybody seems to be against him in terms of where they stand. They also brought up the fact that Santana was so conflicted that he didn't even show up to work.
Yeah.
But, you know, there was a real reason behind that. His stepfather passed away, so it was nice to at least give him a sort of, you know, kayfabe reason as to why he didn't show up.
Yeah.
So, appreciated that. Then Ortiz says, you don't get to choose the hand you're dealt, but sometimes this is the hand that you need to take. And then he says he's better than you, and you know it, to Sammy Guevara. So then
you're better than him, and you know it.
Maybe. I can't remember. It was a week ago. Well, I have it written down as him saying that MJF was better than Sammy.
No, because he was saying to Sammy, he's like, look, sometimes you don't get dealt a good hand, so you just need to go with it. And he was, he was saying to Sammy, look, you're better than him, and you know it. So just shake his hand and let's move on.
See, that would have made more sense.
Yeah, he was taking Sammy's side, but saying to him, look, just shake his hand.
Yeah, do it for the greater good of the team.
Yeah.
So then Sammy says, right, I'll shake his hand, but if one more thing goes wrong, and it's like, and I mean anything, and then he points at like in both MJF and Jericho's faces, and he's like, then one more thing goes wrong, I'm quitting the Inner Circle. So then they shake hands, and then Jericho says, right, everything cool? And then Hager's like, I've got a question. How come this guy keeps staring at me? And Wardlow's like, are you freaking kidding me? You've been staring at me. And they start picking.
I was all staring at you because you were staring at me.
No, but you were staring at me first. No, I wasn't. You want me to stare at you? I'll stare at you.
I think they two could be quite comedically funny together.
Yeah, like, if they play it off and the two of them try to be serious so much that it becomes comical.
Yeah.
Like, if they were a tag team and they were doing shit like constantly trying to one-up each other and all that sort of thing, like, that could be really funny. And then Jericho's like, right, okay, so let's all get in here in the middle, and we'll all. And then MJF cuts him off and starts pimping the main event. Where he's like, oh, I'm going to go on to the main event tonight and take out Orange Cassidy. And Jericho's like, you kind of ruined it there. You ruined the moment. Yeah. So they all huddle round and give a big middle finger together. The Inner Circle is one.
They are one. But for how long?
For how long?
I think they're going to kick Sammy out this week.
This week?
Yeah. Jericho's going to do it because Sammy questioned him.
I don't know. I don't think it's going to be this week, but definitely I think that is something that everyone's going to keep in the old back pocket, and then be like,
which to be fair, it actually makes me kind of sad because I quite like the Sex Gods. I don't know why they've not kept them going and put Jericho and Hager together instead.
I know.
Because like the Sex Gods were great, and
plus it would have been that bit more personal when the dumping of Sammy Guevara happens.
Yeah. The dumping's definitely coming. I think it'll be sooner rather than later. I don't think it's either. If it doesn't happen this week, it'll definitely happen by the New Year shows.
Yeah.
If not on the New Year shows.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's just a bit too quick of a turnaround from, right, we're all cool, everything's fine, to, right, Sammy, you're out.
But the idea behind it, though, is it makes Jericho come across like he's more of a dick, because he's completely fine when Sammy's bickering with MJF, but as soon as he questioned him, it needs to be made an example of. Mm. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, maybe I think that's what they should do. Is they should do something like that, where it's like Jericho trying to make an example of him, but like, oh yeah, I've booked you in a match tonight. Oh, you're going to go up against Lance Archer. And then Sammy's like, wait, what? And it's like, yeah, I booked this match for you. It's going to be great. It's going to be good for your career. You know, essentially just throwing him to the wolves. Yeah.
Well, they could do that every week, where Jericho just books him in mad matches.
Yeah. Like 2-on-1 against like Jungle, like Jurassic Express or something like that.
Or even like throw him in with Miro.
Yeah. I just start chucking him in with massive guys. That's a good idea. Well, speaking of Archer, he was in the next match. But just before that, there was an FTR interview where Cash Wheeler says, oh, it was my fault we lost the tag titles because I'd done that 450 and was trying to beat them at their game, and that really threw us off. And then Tully was like, no, I wasn't at ringside. This was also my problem because part of your team wasn't there. And then Dax Harwood just kind of didn't say anything about any of it being his fault. So he's probably just said, like, yeah, it was your fault. I didn't do anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we have the very bizarre tag team of the Lucha Brothers and Lance Archer taking on Butcher, Blade, and Kingston.
Yeah, I didn't understand that. So is Lance Archer a face now?
Yes, so.
Fair enough.
Yeah, because there was also this weird thing that happened at the end of last week that I completely forgot to mention. Like, as Moxley was lying in the ring just after Kenny Omega and Don Callis ran away, Kingston got on the mic as like, I don't want to wait next week. I want Lance Archer now. And then AEW cut off.
Yeah.
So like, what was the point in that?
I think it was just because they'd said that they would allow the show to run over. Because now they were pimping that the whole way through.
Uh-huh.
They're like, that we will see the end of this match. It's going to be an hour time limit. Mm-hmm. If we run over our time slot, TNT are going to cut us off and all that. Uh-huh. So I think it was just like adding to that by having him going, oh, you're not going to get cut off if we're still on. I want my match now.
And then they just got cut off. He just kind of looked like an idiot.
Yeah, it was a bit stupid, but I think that was the reasoning behind it.
Right, so Archer makes his way out to the ramp, and then just dives over the top rope and takes out all three of his opponents, which was pretty badass. Then there was a big brawl. Butcher put Penta through a table. And then,
I believe.
Yeah, and then Penta gets taken off by the doctors. And it's like, you got put through a table? Like I've seen Penta go through a hell of a lot worse shit in his career, and getting put through a table needs him to get taken away by the doctors. Come on, fuck, man.
Is he not legitimately injured, though?
That I couldn't tell you. I thought this was maybe storyline.
I'm sure I read somewhere he is legitimately injured, so that was just their way to take him out the match.
Well, okay, if that was the case, then I'll give them that. But it's just, as I say, like, I've seen Penta go through some fucking brutal shit in his career, and so getting put through one table, it didn't exactly make me go, ooh, Penta really needs to get taken away by the doctors here.
Has he not been injured since their match with each other? Remember he got injured in that? I'm sure he's still not recovered from that.
Was Phoenix to get injured in that?
Was it?
Yeah. Because he landed.
Never mind.
He landed on his own head. I mean, you may still be right. Penta might still be hurt now. But I don't know if you want to try and have a gander and see if there's anything for it. So the Butcher and the Blade win again after pinning Phoenix after their double team maneuver, and I like the fact that they're starting to build up Butcher and the Blade to be potential contenders. And you know what? Keep building them, and I'd say let Butcher and the Blade take the belts off the Young Bucks. Like, just start the build now. They're starting to rack up some quite high profile wins these past couple of weeks. So just keep going with that, and then maybe in like a couple of months, let Butcher and the Blade win the belts. They've got my
yes. He is injured, and he has been injured for a few weeks.
Okay.
So it was just basically to have him in the match, but then take him out it. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, I feel like there was other ways that you could have done that, where just like have him on the apron like the entire time and get in to do like one or two spots. It's just the way that, as I say,
it's a leg injury though, so I don't know how much you could do on a leg injury.
Yeah, I suppose.
Because if you're doing all the flippity stuff, you need your legs for that. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, Penta isn't exactly the flippity floppity one of the two of them, but I suppose.
Anyway, he is legitimately injured.
Well, cool. I'm glad we sussed that bit out, though. So, up next, we have the return of Abaddon. Taking on Tesha Price.
Who?
Tesha Price. Oh, believe me, I've been watching her on Dark these past couple of weeks, and let's just say I'm an Instagram follower of hers.
I will have to partake in Instagramming, following.
So obviously this was a hella quick match. Abaddon hits the Widow's Peak for the victory, and then she starts attacking Price after the bell, and Shida then comes out to face Abaddon, smashes her over the head with a kendo stick. This looked like a nice, meaty sort of scalp across the head. And then she's sort of standing there admiring her work, and then Abaddon does the setup, the infamous "I'm dead" wrestler setup.
Yep.
And Shida just kind of runs away. I'm quite liking this sort of storyline.
Thing is, and then on commentary, they're like, she's not scared of her. She just doesn't quite know how to take her. And it's like, she ran away.
She is legitimately scared of her.
Like, she ran away. That's pretty much the definition of being scared of something.
And do you know what? The one thing that really irks me about this whole thing is the fact that Shida has already wrestled and defeated Abaddon before. See that one loss that's on Abaddon's record? That was Shida that gave her that loss on Dark. Like, right at the start. So it's just like, it's just that one thing of, you've wrestled her before and you weren't scared then, and then you beat her. But now all of a sudden you need to pretend that you're scared of her.
Yeah, that's true actually.
Us elites watch Dark.
I know. I can't justify 3 hours for Dark. I just can't do it.
I know. I mean, 3 hours was 2 hours 45 was the longest one. It's not normally that long.
Yeah, just either keep it to an hour or split it into 2 shows. They should do a pre-Dynamite Dark, and a post-Dynamite Dark, so you get some of the fallout for Dynamite on it.
Like, you know how they do that extra edition of Dark before a pay-per-view? Like, why not just do Dark on a Tuesday and then Dark on a Friday, and then that episode that's always on before a pay-per-view, like, that'll just kind of slot in there.
Yeah.
Because I can watch it, and I do watch it pretty much every week. Just sit there, to be honest, sometimes I'm farting about on eBay or on Reddit or whatever, and I'm just kind of watching in the background. But like, I can watch it, but it's just sometimes it can just be far too long.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
On the occasion, you do get some good stuff. I mean, like, what's her face? Britt Baker has started doing her talk show there, which is quite fun. Because Reba's on it and she's hilarious. Like, anytime that Britt Baker tells these like really terrible jokes, like Reba's just sitting there doing this whole like over exaggerated laugh.
Reba.
She's the best. So next, Kenny Omega and Don Callis arrive in a chopper. Get to the chopper. And now there's more dancers in Kenny Omega's entrance as he makes his way out of the heel, what do you call it? Walkway.
Yeah, I noticed that coming out the other side.
The heel entrance, there you go. And there's one dancer that clearly looks like she doesn't know what she's doing, because you can just see her like staring off to the side, trying to copy everybody else.
I think you just fucking show them it. Do you know what I mean? Like, just watch a video about an hour before you go out. Watch it another 2 or 3 times. Boom, you know what you're doing.
I mean, it's that kind of thing. That she was one of the 2 new girls, and I wouldn't be surprised if she just got a bit stage fright. Like, I forget what I'm doing.
Yeah, possibly.
So Don Callis and Kenny Omega come out, and they pretty much say a more condensed version of everything that they said on Impact, and that was really about it. So there was no big announcement that they claimed that they were going to make, and to be honest, like, it was that kind of thing. It was like, we watched that entire episode of Impact to hear them say the exact same thing they were going to say in Dynamite anyway.
Yeah. I know, that actually annoyed me. To be honest, the whole Kenny on Impact thing has kind of annoyed me, but we'll get there.
Yeah. So next week, Cody will take on Angelico. The Hardy Party take on Hangman Page and the Dark Order. The Acclaimed make their in-ring Dynamite debut as they take on SCU. Oh, I forgot that. They sort of interfered at the end of the Young Bucks match, didn't they?
Yeah, then SCU came out for the save.
Yeah. Deeb and Swole take on Ivelisse and Diamante. And that's all set for next week. Then we get into the main event of the evening, MJF versus Orange Cassidy, the Dynamite Diamond Ring. I don't know how I felt about this match. I didn't think it was overly great.
Nah, me neither.
It was just kind of it literally was just like a segment, not a segment, what's the word I'm looking for?
Filler?
Not filler. Like, it was a match just purposely to get something going. Like the match that MJF and Jericho had.
Yeah.
Like that sort of thing. It's going to annoy me now. But, yeah, it was just purely... They had this match. It was all right, and the ending came where MJF has the Chris Jericho's bat, and then tries to do the Eddie Guerrero spot where he throws it at Orange Cassidy, but Cassidy just didn't catch the bat, so it bounced off him and just hit the floor. Then MJF gets back up, picks up the bat again, and it's like, what are you doing? And then Cassidy just drops to the floor, and then the ref turns around, and MJF's like, no, I didn't do anything. So then Cassidy hits his beach break, but only gets 2, and then he manages to counter Salt of the Earth and goes for the orange punch for 2 because MJF is working on Cassidy's hand the whole match. He connects with a second orange punch, but Wardlow puts MJF's leg on the rope. And then there's a big fight in the outside between Inner Circle and a whole bunch of people that came out to back up Cassidy, including Best Friends and I think maybe Joey Janela and Sonny Kiss were out there. I can't really remember. But this causes the referee to get distracted, and Miro dives in, lariats Cassidy, like really, really laid that one in, giving MJF the win, and he is still the Dynamite Diamond Ring champion.
I want to see them actually do something a bit more with this Dynamite Diamond Ring now. Because really, like as we discussed last time, all MJF's really ever done is just punch people in the face with it, but I'd like it to have a bit more prestige. And did you also notice the value of it went up $10,000?
Maybe they had a redo of it, and this one's even more expensive than the last one.
Yeah, they said it's worth 40,000, and it's now worth 50,000. I suppose inflation.
True. Cash for gold. So then we end the episode with Miro literally just murdering some dude by throwing him off the stage onto.
Oh yeah, that looked nasty.
Yeah, because like there wasn't a table or anything. He just threw him off the stage and he just landed at ringside.
There must have been a crash mat or something there, surely.
I would hope.
Because there was absolutely nothing to break his fall. It looked so nasty.
Yeah.
And the camera never ever panned back to that area.
Yeah, it was kind of like halfway up the stage, so you didn't actually see him land. So hopefully there was something there, because if not, like, not only was that a nasty fall, but then you didn't even get to see the gross impact of him splatting on the ground, which would have made the whole thing completely irrelevant.
Yep. That was fucking insane. I completely forgot about that, actually. That was mental.
I probably wouldn't have taken a note of it had he not murdered that guy.
Yeah.
Right, we'll move swiftly on to NXT, and to be honest, we're probably going to move very swiftly through NXT, because this was a bit of a dud episode.